Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, got a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today because we are talking about a new Legend of Zelda PC port, but it's the Minish cap. This is not Twilight Princess Courage Reborn or Twilight Princess Dusk. This is by a developer named Mateo who actually chatted with me over on Discord and helped me get a build of this working on my PC since a lot of it's dependent upon the actual creator's pathing. And honestly, even though something like Twilight Princess is probably the quote-unquote more exciting PC port, something like the Minish cap getting brought over to PC with the infinite modability that would actually bring is even more exciting in my opinion, just because we have to get some 2D Zelda games as well as the 3D stuff, because obviously there have been a couple PC ports and recomps of 2D Zelda games in the past, but I love the fact that we're getting both 3D and 2D at the same time. That means we're all going to be winning. Before you get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And I will say right off the top, this is going to be a very work in progress build. This is not complete. It's not something you're going to be able to sit down and play from start to finish today without a lot of wiggling around. That is why it isn't actually publicly released. Sure, you can play around with the GitHub repo and I will leave that in the description below. But this is definitely one that you kind of want to wait for an actual finished build because it really is just for testing and it's kind of for previewing around as to what's going to be going on. But I will say, even though it is just in testing and this was a custom build sent to me that probably took about an hour to get running, the result here is absolutely spectacular, and seeing the Minish cap run on my PC outside of software emulation is an absolute vibe, and I'm 100% there for it. And before you say, but we have software emulation for this, of course we do. We also have software emulation for Twilight Princess on Dolphin. It's incredible. Like I always like to say in these videos, options are great. This is why retro gaming is making a comeback. We just have developers out there doing new and exciting things with some of our favorite games, and in the end, having a PC version of the actual Minish cap game is going to be a straight up 10 out of 10. And honestly, as far as 2D Zelda games and handhelds are concerned, I would say the Minish cap is my personal favorite. While I love the DS entries, there was something about those that felt slightly too much of a pivot of the overall Legend of Zelda formula for me to get 100% into them. Now, I am not saying in any way, shape, or form they are not fun games. They are incredible, but the Minish cap just kind of felt like an extension of something like Link to the Past, except on a 32-bit handheld. And I've always been curious, why does no one ever mention that Link will just basically navigate the entire world by rolling? Princess Zelda here does not seem to even notice the fact that while she walks and runs, Link just decides to basically do some cartwheels with his hands all the way through the world of this game. All jokes aside, just one of those things that is the fastest way to move around, but it always is pretty hilarious. And as you see the graphics drawing here, everything looks spectacular. There's going to be a few visual glitches here and there in the menus, but in its current state, it absolutely looks stunning. And just think of a world when this thing's fully done where you can change the resolution, maybe change the aspect ratio, just kind of make it whatever Minish cap experience you want. That is the exciting thing about these PC ports, because yes, we have ROM hacks that can do a lot of these things, but imagine a menu where you just kind of toggle on or off options at will to create the Minish cap experience you want. And I will say I did put this up on my 4K OLED, an LG C465 inch, and the colors absolutely look amazing because I love just how poppy they are in this capture and definitely look even better on an OLED. And as we kind of go through the little bit of a fair town here in front of Hyrule Castle, again, I'm just showing you the beginning parts of this game because right now the build is definitely unstable and I crashed it maybe 3 or 4 times getting this footage, and that is not in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of a complaint against the developer. This is just how these things work. Trying to get this thing fully ported over to PC definitely takes a lot of time and is going to require a lot of bug fixing and tracking down different issues with the build. But again, showing these previews, hyping up what is coming, especially in the Legend of Zelda recomp and PC port territory, is just something I absolutely love doing on the channel and will continue to do so. And as far as when this one might be finished, honestly, it is one big question mark. Just be excited when you hear the news. I will definitely do a video on a new build once it gets better, and definitely on release as well, because just like the Twilight Princess PC port videos, I want to follow this one kind of through its development process because I'm stoked that the dev let me get some access to this. But here is a quote-unquote soundtrack sample and I'll explain in just a moment. So obviously that audio was added in post, and that's because the build here, the SDL audio just was not connecting the correct way, and that's probably because on the developer side of things, the build is basically made on their system with their dependencies and all of their pathing, where on my system, it is a completely different instance. That happens when you're developing things, and definitely happens when I'm editing things in Resolve, trying to send some half-edited portions of an actual project to other editors. If I am working on a project where we're kind of collaborating, it is a little bit of a nightmare, and even though it's gotten better, trying to actually transport projects from one PC to another is always going to be a little bit of a mess. When these things are in development, it's always one of the realities that you're going to have to deal with this sort of stuff. So as far as the audio, it does exist, it does work, it just doesn't work in the build I have. So next time I feature this, hopefully I'm going to be able to give you that audio, but I have seen previews from the dev, and honestly it sounds every bit as good as it should. And that really is the thing. When this build is working correctly, you would really have no idea that it wasn't actually a finished product. From the pixel art to the backgrounds to all of the animation and text boxes, if I showed you a screenshot of this and just said it was a completed Minish Cap PC port, you would be none the wiser. Now obviously that's not something I'm going to do on the channel. I love talking about development builds, but when this game is doing everything correctly as a PC port, it is flawless, and I can't wait to see a new build where even more of the issues have been improved. Because that is the thing, it has probably been maybe like 7 to 10 years since I last played Minish Cap start to finish, and I have been thinking about actually doing a replay because I've been going into some 2D RPGs from back in the day that I haven't played for like a decade or so, and kind of playing them in my spare time just because they really are easy pick up and play sort of things when I'm not making this channel or doing my normal work. So I am definitely going to be waiting for the PC port of Minish Cap to be 100% complete so I can have my next run on that, because that's definitely something I'm excited to play around with, and I think you guys will be too. But leave me a comment down below and you tell me best 2D Zelda game on a handheld. I would be curious because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of different answers for that one, and it's always fun hearing you guys kind of friendly debate in the comments as to what your favorite entry is and why. Because the reality is there really isn't any handheld Zelda game that is quote-unquote bad. They are all great in their own right, but definitely there's something about the Minish Cap with its kind of Link to the Past aesthetic and overall storyline that just 100% hit when I first played it, and now kind of going through it again still looks every bit as incredible as it used to. Because that really is the thing. Obviously Nintendo went from Super Nintendo to N64 in that generation, but if Nintendo had basically done a 32-bit 2D exclusive console to succeed the Super Nintendo, I really feel like the Game Boy Advance would have been exactly what you got, and you would have been playing a game like this as a home console game and nobody would have complained whatsoever. And getting stuff like this PC ports just make the fun that much more fun, for lack of a better term. All of the recomps and all of the PC ports we've seen, they run better, they have more modability, and honestly they just keep these games alive for new audiences, and that's definitely something I always love to see. And again, Link rolling through the world here, just one of those things. I can't imagine he doesn't get dizzy. If I did this, I would have a concussion by roll 3. But all jokes aside, basically every game has a fast navigation option, and here rolling around is just the way Link does it. If you notice I whiff a few sword swings here, that's because all of the controls are on keyboard right now, and the arrow keys are going to be how you move Link around. And there's always something about moving a character with my right hand versus my left. It just never 100% feels logical or concise. And really the reality is once this thing is done, you're going to have full controller support. Right now it is just temp controls in, but if you notice me kind of just bumping into things every once in a while, that's because whether it's a D-pad, an analog stick, or a keyboard, using my left hand is always how you would move a character around the screen, and using my right hand would always be the buttons. That is inverted here just for ease of use in the development process. That's one of those things that just kind of trip me up. And you will see there on the actual map screen as well, some of the graphics are corrupt, so it definitely isn't a 100% complete build, and obviously I let you know that right off the top, but it's so much fun to go through these work in progress builds and see exactly how everything gets made, how you can interact with it, and what needs to be improved. So I would say, as far as the stability is concerned, yes, it's going to crash every once in a while, but at least for me personally, that's fine on a capture, and that's why this isn't a public build. It's something sent to me for demo, because I can basically cut the crashes out and just have a concise video to talk about the project. But if you were trying to play this, you'd sit down and try to do it for fun, and a crash would be a bummer. But basically every single time we get a PC port, by the time you're able to play it, that means the development team as well as any testers have gone through and basically tried to remove any issues the game would have whatsoever. And I'm sure that's going to be exactly what happens with the Minish Cap PC port as well. This one is definitely exciting to me. I am really looking forward to playing this game again, and like I said, I'm going to be waiting around until that actually gets finished. And as we jump in here and go ahead and shrink ourselves down. This is one of the areas that did end up crashing on me. It was a little bit hard to actually shrink down, and when I get to that little mouse hole in the wall, the game quit out, but then I went back in and everything was fine. So the crashes definitely seem to be a bit random, but it's one of those things that's in development. It's coming soon. You're going to love it, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.